You're listening to the Small Business Talk podcast with Cathy Smith.
Small Business Talk is a podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs who want a better way to run their businesses without spending years doing it the hard way. Small Business Talk is hosted by Cathy Smith, who has run the same marketing agency for more than 17 years and helped hundreds of business owners achieve their marketing goals.
Welcome to Small Business Talk, episode 203. If you haven't listened to episode 200, go back and check that out. That was lots of fun. So today's topic comes from a listener. I was speaking to a listener earlier today, and she asked for a specific topic, leveraging social media. So I thought instead of doing the topic I planned, that's what I'd do. So thank you, Jane. Appreciate your suggestions, and stay tuned. I'll do some of the others in following weeks. So let's talk about social media, and in particular, leveraging your social media. You hear of a lot of people who spend an awful lot of time on social media and get no result, get very annoyed with it, and then end up having to take a bit of a detox from online. So we definitely don't want you having to do that. So let's start at the basics. Let's talk about what social media is, why you should be using it, how you should be using it, and what to do along the way. So the first thing that you need to look at is the actual platforms. Are you picking the right one, and are you playing by their rules? So each of the platforms have a certain set of rules, and if you don't play by their rules, they won't stop you from posting or being part of it, but they won't share it either, and they certainly won't push it out and you become viral. So make sure that you are checking out what you can and can't do on social media. But the biggest thing that most social medias hate, in fact, all social medias hate, is when you're trying to take them away from their platform. So it's like going to a party and then trying to get all the guests to go down to the party down the street. Not a good look. People don't like it, and the social media platforms definitely don't like it. So think about when you're putting links in your posts, when you're sending people to other places, that is taking them to a different party, and they don't like it. Also think about using content from their opposition. So Facebook in particular, if you are uploading a YouTube video, YouTube is direct competition to Facebook. So no worries about using the video, but just do it natively. Don't put it into YouTube first and then use it. Put it straight into Facebook, upload it natively, and upload it natively into YouTube. And then you've got it in two places, not just the one. So that is a great strategy, but make sure that you are doing it natively. And what I mean by that is uploading it directly into Facebook, not getting it from somewhere else. So making sure that you are following their rules. So why are we on social media at all? What are we doing? Why are we there? Well, it's free most of the times. And it can get you to places you've never been before. Yes, the reach is getting smaller and smaller on a lot of the platforms, but it's still a lot more than what you would have if you just walked out the front door of your house or your office. You can reach people that you've never reached before. Utilizing things like groups means that you can then reach even more people, and particularly people that have never heard of you. So it is a fantastic place to spread your message, but it is about making sure that message is what it needs to be. So thinking about your audience, what is it your audience are looking for? What do they want? Are you giving them the right sort of information? So you need to have a good mix. You need to have some education. You need to have some fun. Even if you're a really sort of stagnate is the word that comes to mind, but that's probably not a good one. But if you're a very conservative business, you can still have a little bit of fun. Friday funnies or Wednesday hump days, or just occasionally a bloopers roll or something like that can show people that you are human and that it's all part of your brand to be that stoic brand, but you still have fun and you are a person behind that brand. So make sure that you're doing your education, you're having a little bit of fun, and you are offering a product. You are telling them what they can buy. So whether that's a free discovery call or a consultation, whether that's an actual go to somewhere to buy, but remembering being careful about how you're doing it, because asking them directly to go to a link to your website is not going to get a very good response. But occasionally it's okay. So if you're just putting it in sparingly, then that's fine, but not in every post, and making sure that you are mixing it up with that different type of content. Also, hashtags are a big one. The social media platforms love them, but you need to make sure that you are using them in the right way. So Instagram loves hashtags. So you can do lots of hashtags on Instagram. Anything up to about 28, 29, fabulous. Make sure that you do have a bit of a formula, so you're mixing and matching them, you're using them for different reasons, and you're not just spamming. But on Instagram, lots of hashtags. Facebook and LinkedIn, they only like a few, about 5 maximum, particularly on Facebook. Use them as emphasis and not in your text, just at the end. LinkedIn like them because that's another way they can work out how to do your URL. So you might notice that if somebody sends you a link, that quite often the URL will have some of those hashtags in it as telling you what that story is about, what that article, that post, the content of it. So definitely use them, but use them the right way. If you are sharing between Instagram and Facebook, make sure that you do it in the Meta suite so that you can change them, you can customize them to have less hashtags on Facebook and more on Instagram. If you're sharing them straight across and you're putting the exact same hashtags on, people don't like that, particularly on Facebook. They don't like a lot of hashtags. So just be aware of that. Not too many on Facebook, lots on Instagram. And some of the other platforms also like them. So check out the rules and see what it is that people like and what the platforms like in regards to hashtags. So choose the right platform. What is the platform that your audience is on? Where do they like to go? What type of content do they like to consume? And what do you like to do? It's absolutely pointless trying to be consistent on a platform where if you don't like the content. So if it's all going to be written content and you need a lot of it, like a large article on LinkedIn, it's going to be difficult for you to continue to do that. You might need to swap back to posts on LinkedIn where they're smaller. If it's video and you want to do YouTube or loading those into Facebook or Instagram, if video is not something you can do consistently, it's going to be really difficult. So think about where your audience is, but also think about what you can do and what you can create. So that's really important. And the most important thing is consistency, making sure that you are doing it regularly. And with these scheduling platforms, and Facebook and Instagram have their own scheduling platforms, so no you need to use a third-party one. You can do it all in one go. You can do your whole week, your whole month's content in one go, but then have it drip fed out throughout the week or the month. Now, I wouldn't suggest to go a whole month unless you've got a few spaces to add some things that happen to make sure that you do have that spontaneity and a little bit of fun and vigor, and it's not just the same thing being regurgitated. So definitely doing it and scheduling it for a week in advance is great. A little bit longer is good, but not too far out so that you've forgotten what you've done. And just be really careful if there's anything that's time sensitive, or it could be situation sensitive. We don't want to put out a nice, happy post if there's something terrible's just happened in the world, in your environment or your location, if that's relevant to you. So just make sure you are aware that when you're scheduling things, to go back in and check them a few times and make sure they are actually going out. There's no point scheduling a whole month thinking, right, set and forget, we're done, we're out of here, and then find out that you haven't had any content for the month. So make sure you are checking it and make sure that you are watching the comments, because that's really important. When people are engaging with you, you need to engage with them back. If you're not engaging with you, then the platforms are going to say, are you really there? Are you just automating this whole thing and therefore there's nobody there? So just make sure that you are commenting. And even if it's a negative comment, just think of a creative way that you can maybe answer that, or just thank them for it and say difference of opinion. Now, dirty laundry is not the place for social media. So don't get into a slinging match. If it's something that can't be answered there, then you need to take it offline. And if you're already taking it offline, just make sure that you do publicly say that so that other people can see that you are dealing with that. So you might say, thank you for your comment. And as you know, we're talking offline about that. I look forward to our phone call whenever it happens to be, or whatever the situation is. But just make sure that you are publicly acknowledging the fact that this person has made a comment and that you are dealing with it offline, so that people do know that you're not ignoring them. Generally, people will realise when things are a little bit wrong, and maybe there has been a little bit of a muck up or something's gone wrong. They'll cut you a bit of slack. But if you've got a lot of these comments over and over and over, then you really need to think, well, maybe there is an issue, and do you need to look at it and see what needs to be done there? Now, engagement is king. Like I said, if people are engaging with you, then you really need to make sure that you are engaging back with them. That's really important. The more engagement you can get, especially when your posts go out in the beginning, LinkedIn's really huge on this. The first 2 hours is critical. So if you can get other people to comment and share and like and talk about it, then it's more likely to be shared widely on the platform. So in the beginning, LinkedIn will only share it to a very small portion of your followers. And then if you're getting engagement, it will share it out further. And then it'll share it out to your non-followers. Also, if your followers are starting to talk about it, then the chances of their followers seeing some of it will be higher as well. If you are commenting on other people's stuff, make sure that you do more than just thanks for sharing or nice post. Actually write a comment like you would if you were talking to them in real life. So when you're thinking about leveraging social media, think about how you would react in real life. If you were talking to somebody in real life, would you make that comment? Would you say thanks for sharing? Or would you actually have a conversation about it? And treat social media the same. If you can't walk down to the local supermarket, the local mall, and scream it at the top of your voice and have your grandmother hear it, then don't put it on social media. And as I mentioned before, it's definitely not the place for your dirty laundry, because even though things can be deleted, they do leave a digital footprint, and those in the know can definitely get it back again. So just be careful what you are putting on there, and make sure that you take your rants offline and do not put them anywhere that somebody could take snippets of them and send them out in a really bad way. So think about the way that you're reacting, the way you'd like to be treated, and make sure that you're doing the same. Leverage user-generated social media. So if you're a cafe, you might have a competition of people taking photos of your great coffee art, of your latest brownie, of the sweet of the day, or whatever it happens to be. You might have a dress-up day or something. How can you get other people to post and tag you in it? Another great way is testimonials. People will always trust what somebody else says far more than what you say, and especially when it's about yourself. So testimonials is a fabulous way to use user content. Allow people to take photos and tag you. Allow them to make comments. And when they do make comments, make sure that you interact. If you're getting Facebook or Google reviews, make sure you are commenting back to them, thanking them, and making sure that you leverage those. So you can turn those into posts as well and let other people know what people are saying about you. So user-generated content is a really great way to increase and leverage social media as well. And like everything, especially in marketing, test and measure. See what is working, see what's new and hot, and maybe have a little bit of a look at it. But remember, don't go down that chasing shiny objects, because at the end, they tarnish, and sometimes they waste an awful lot of time and money. So test and measure what's working for you. Amplify the things that are working. Keep an eye on them. Things that work really well now mightn't work so well later. Things that maybe have been working really well, had a little bit of a break, maybe try them again. You just don't know, especially with the changing world that we've had for the last few years. Quite often, things that didn't work so well are now working really well. Things like building community and making sure that you have a tribe, getting other people to talk about you, as I've mentioned, is a fantastic way of getting that message out and leveraging it. And using your social media in more than one way. If you're doing a video, then cut it up into snippets. Use the audio. You can use that as a video with maybe just still photos, that sort of thing, or on an animation. There's multiple ways you can use videos. You can get the transcript and turn that into a blog post, then get the quotes out of the blog post. So make sure that you are using your content that you've spent time and effort making and then spreading it out throughout the thing. Also, if you've got content that has worked really, really well, hang on to it. Put it somewhere so that you can then put it out again. So you might do in your month's content, you might repurpose something once a week. Obviously not the same something, but you've got that opportunity there as well, which once again makes that new and fresh, and it makes it so that you don't have to create so much content. I was listening to a coaching episode the other day, and this lady said that she had made 400 pieces of content on a month. What kind of content is that? Is that going to be really good, high quality content? Is it going to be something that's really going to engage your audience? So when you are doing content, think about quality, not quantity. Think about what you can do consistently. And most of all, think about your audience. Social media want you to be social. They want that interaction. They want people to talk to you. They want it to be a conversation. So when you're leveraging your social media, keep those things in mind. Now, as we have our 200th episode just been, we have quite a few episodes coming up, and there's some really good speakers in there. So we've got some things on leadership. We've just had our cybersecurity. We've got some other fantastic ones coming up. So stay tuned and listen to episode 204 to get some more wisdom and some gems and those drops of gold. So I look forward to bringing you these new episodes over the next few weeks. And if, like Jane, you have a hot topic that you'd like me to discuss, please drop me a DM and let me know what it would be. So remember, SBT audience, enjoy your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to Small Business Talk podcast and head on over to smallbusinesstalk.com.au/downloads for all the show notes and links to this episode. Remember, to be great, you must start. Pick one tip from today's episode, take action and implement it. Let's meet again next week at the same time and place. Until then, take action. And SBT community, enjoy your journey.